Okay, this is a progress report for my final project for Comp 306, C++ for programmers. And the final project is a text based adventure game based on Lewis Carroll's famous Alice in Wonderland. And anyone who's been following any of the videos I posted knows that I had this project, you know, pretty much to this point or a little further uh, over 6 weeks ago. And then I lost a USB flash drive, and instead of starting fresh, I kind of wanted. I was kind of behind on a couple courses. I was taking a few courses at a time. I just started putting the code that I had in various stages together, um, even though I really should have started from scratch, and it just caused a ton of compiler errors. I mean, like the errors just scrolled forever, um, and then and then I kind of haphazardly sort of tried to solve the compiler errors. And at a certain point, I knew it just wasn't going well because to solve it, I was taking away like const from getters and setters. Typically you'd make your getters const, not your setters, but your getters. I was taking those away because they were helping with compiler errors, and I knew something was off when that was the case. Because typically, your getters would be const because you're not changing anything when you return something in getter. Even when I was passing in strings to methods, if the string nothing was happening to the string, normally I would have passed them in as const reference for efficiency and stuff, and I was taking that away. There was lots of other little things that I just knew I was like, this is going to cause me issues, but I was kind of focused and I just wanted to solve the compiler errors. Huge mistake, and caused a lot of issues. Took a while just to even get the compiler error solved. And then when I had the compiler error solved, then all of the things that we had modified and changed in order to get the compiler error solved now resulted in logical errors in the gameplay. And so now it's to the point where if I had a few more days or even like really 2 days at most, I could really get a nice, solid, polished product, I think, out there. But unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do that because it is February 28th after midnight, and this is the final day for my course, so my contract end date. And my final exam is scheduled for today at 1:30, and I don't even have this project submitted yet, which is supposed to be submitted before you do the final exam. So yeah, I've just got a lot to do, and obviously I need to get some rest before an exam today. So I will be doing that shortly. To be honest, I haven't even looked at what the exam is on, so hopefully it's on this game. but um, but yeah, that's where we're at. So I'm not going to have a nice polished product, but I just want to show you the work through now of where we kind of are. Um, I'm going to run through it. I've still got all the debugging code in there. So it's not going to run like a smooth game. And the reason being is because, again, had so many issues at certain points that I created my own debugger class that basically just allows me to, instead of just using cout and just outputting to the console, I'm able to create indent levels and indicate what the calling method is and get an ID associated with the debugger just by calling the constructors of the debugger. So, and it allowed me to toggle a debugger on and off, although I haven't put that in there. I guess I could toggle it off. But that's kind of where we're at. So there'll be a lot of debugging code in here, but let's just get something on the books showing what we're doing. So again, this is kind of what I mean by the debugging code. It indicates the main method got called and then the show intro method within main got called. This is typically all you'd see, some introduction to the game. And you normally wouldn't see do while loop, obviously. That's just indicating, hey, this is the main do while loop. But you could type something in, you could look around. Typically what you would see is, hey, you're in the riverbank and description of the location, blah, 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 something, 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 another line of text. Obviously this would be the description based on the book. Items in the location, a jar. Again, these items, some of them are specific to the location and kind of align with the text in the book. Or the movie, like kind of a mixture between the book and the movie. And some just are something there so I can have an item to pick. And you could do all the usual things. You could take the jar. If I can type properly. You could take the jar. Jar's taken. So now if I look, the jar is no longer there. Items in location, there's nothing there. If I look in my inventory, I can't spell inventory. I have a glass jar. I could drop the jar, and now if I look, the jar is back, and if I look in my inventory, there's nothing there. I can go different locations. If I go west, no exit, and I'll put the excerpt, but no exit that way. If I go south, there's no exit as well. If I go, it said, do I want to hear a riddle? And I type south. I should have put yes or no for a riddle. Sure, let's do a riddle. So, how far down is the center of the Earth? I don't know. 3,000 miles. Sorry, but that's the wrong answer. Do you want to take another guess? Yeah, why not? Why not? Would you like a hint? Yes. Yep. The diameter of the Earth is this. Okay, well, if the diameter of the Earth is that, obviously half of that would be the radius, would be the center of the Earth. So, center of the Earth would be roughly 6,375 plus 21, 396 kilometers. And that's probably what it is. And there's lots of different answers you can put in. We kind of have an array or whatever that of answers that are acceptable. But 4,000 miles is kind of what she says in the book, and that's what I'm going to type right now. And congratulations, you're correct. And I forget where I was. I think I was... Yeah, I'm on the riverbank. I could go north into the river. And the river, basically, the river's just a dead zone. If I go west in the river, east in the river, or north in the river, I just stick in the river. It just keeps me in the river. I have to physically go south to get back to the riverbank. Yeah, let's do a riddle. So, how far down is the center of the Earth? Oh yeah, I kind of had placeholders. There's typically different riddles in the locations, but I think the river was just a placeholder. Well, you know what? Let's try to figure it out this time. It's 6,000... so it would have been half that, so 6,796 kilometers, maybe? Sorry, but that's the wrong answer. Yeah. Yep, let's do another guess. Would you like hint? Absolutely. Okay. The diameter of the Earth is that. So what did I say? 960... 375, 961. I'm just going to say about 4,000. Oops, wrong. Try again. Okay, yes. Would you like hint? Okay. How far down is the center of the Earth? I don't know. I'm just going to type it in. We know it's 4,000 miles. Correct. Let's see. What was I thinking? So, it's really late. I'm really tired. So, I'm still in the river. I need to go south. I'm back on the riverbank. And if I look around, you'll see that I'm on the riverbank. Normally, without all this debugging code, and I'm supposed to output excerpts, so you would see that you're back. Although, technically, the excerpts don't happen every time. If you've already been in a location, the excerpt is not going to show up. At least not the long, full excerpt from the novel. But you could always click show, and it would, at that point, I will show the excerpts. You can kind of see I'm going into a method show excerpts, blah, 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 when the excerpts are there. But anyway, let's just go east. I know east takes me somewhere. It takes me to the rabbit hole. And, you know, I could do another riddle. Yeah, let's do another riddle. What was the real life last name of, Lewis and Carroll, of Alice, rather? It was Little. I could look around. I'm in the rabbit hole. It shows me there's a couple items. I'm going to go south. Do you want to hear a riddle? No. Now if I look, I'm in Twig's Landing. So I went south. I'm in Twig's Landing. There's some items there. You know, I could take a carrot if I want. Carrot taken. So now if I look at my inventory, I've got a big carrot. If I look around, there's no items there because I stole the carrot. If I go west, you can read the excerpt, but I'm just going to show you. I'm going to say no to the riddle. Nah, not today. You could have read the excerpt, found out you're in the Great Hall, but I'm just going to click it to look around. I'm in the Great Hall. There's items in location. These 6 items: table key, curtain door, bottle cake. I could go open door, and the door is locked and you don't have a key. Okay, well, I've seen a key there. So I'm going to take the key. Key taken. So now I'm going to open the door. Door's open, but you're too tall. Something I've never heard in my life. But door is open, so that's great, but you're too tall to fit through it. Okay, well, I did see a bottle. And if you didn't see it, just press look again. But there was a bottle on the table, so bottle taken. Now if I look, you'll see that there's no bottle on the table or key. So the items are down to 4. Table, curtain, door, cake. Because I have the key and the bottle and a carrot, but the carrot has nothing to do with anything. But I'm too, what was it? I'm too tall to go through the door. So in line with the story, I'm gonna drink the bottle, and it's gonna make me shrink to like 9 inches tall or whatever it is, 10 inches tall. After drinking the contents of the bottle, you shrink down to 10 inches tall. Okay, great. Wow, I should be able to go through the door. But in line with the story, the door is now locked again. You don't have the key. So that's kind of a thing in the story, like, you know, the irritants of Wonderland. She drinks, she's small enough, but now she no longer has the key. It's still back on the table. And if I look, the key is back on the table. And if I look at my inventory, you know, I no longer have the key. It's been transferred out of my possession. So I can try to take the key, but because I'm so short now, you are too short to grab the key off the glass table. So I'm upset, obviously. But I did see some cake on the floor, so I'm going to take the cake. Take cake. Okay. Cake taken. And I'm going to eat cake. And anyone who's familiar with the story knows after she eats cake, she grows for 9 feet tall or whatever. And she's, upset. So she grows 9 feet tall. And she starts crying. She's crying a pool of tears, blah, blah, blah. She sees a rabbit run by. I think it says that in here. Through tear-filled eyes, Alice notices the white rabbit run by, muttering something, blah, blah. He ultimately drops a fan and kid gloves. Now, this is part of the story, so if I look now, magically, the fan and gloves have been added to my inventory. So they're now there because the guy dropped them. But good news is, I probably could have gave the rabbit a carrot. I had one, but I didn't. But so those kid gloves are there. So the whole point is, if I take the fan, I now can start fanning myself. And in the story, she starts shrinking, but she actually gets worried because she's shrinking and she thinks she's going to shrink out of existence, or she's worried. So she needs to ultimately drop the fan. And at one point she notices that she can put the white gloves on, and that's when she realizes, she hasn't shrunken into existence, or she's upset because she's big. She starts waving herself because she finds it hot. She starts shrinking, and she's crying a pool of tears. And then at one point she notices that she's got the white glove on, and she's like, well, how could she do that if she was like this monster? But she realizes she's shrinking, but she doesn't want to shrink out of existence, so she needs to drop the fan. So if I fan myself, that was a big explanation for me to fan myself. And I gain points. You can see gain points showed up here. And that just means because I fan myself, I knew what to do. Typically, if you do something, not necessarily picking up everything will give you points, but if you do something that's kind of in line with the story, the more, then you'll get points. So the more you know the story, you'll get points. Obviously, for answering riddles and stuff correctly too, some of the harder ones, you'll get points. But so I started fanning myself, and you notice that took a while. I have to work on the delays, but basically I'm shrinking. So you notice that you are wearing one of the white kid gloves. My height is 150. My height started off at like 221 or something, whatever Alice's height is estimated to be. Now I realize, you are able to put on a glove. You must be shrinking, and I'm shrinking. And my delay kind of gets bigger as it goes down to give me time to think about what to do. And I realize that if I just drop the fan, I'll just wait a second so we can see the next one. But like, you are still shrinking and worried that you might just disappear. So if we read these, you notice that you're wearing one of the white kid gloves. Okay, you realize you were able to put the glove on because you must be shrinking. You are still shrinking and worried that you might just disappear. And you can do other things while this is happening. I could look around. Like, I'm looking. I can look around and see all the same stuff. Like, I'm still in the great thing, but you see, this is going to keep going. This is multi-threading happening. So this thread where I'm shrinking is happening separate from. That's why I was able to press look and see the item still here. And you'll notice the gloves are still there, but not the fan because I took them. I think taking the gloves just gives me points. But anyway, so I'm still shrinking. You need to do something before you disappear. So this is kind of, it's the delay is happening longer, so I'm having more time to think and ultimately realize I need to drop the fan. But it's giving me a message, hey, you need to do something before you disappear. And I can't remember what the message was earlier. And I think I make the delay quite big, so I probably won't let this continue because it's like 5 seconds at a certain point. You realize that it must be the fan that's causing you to shrink. So again, I'm at height 50. I realize the fan. I'm just going to go up here and read some stuff. So yeah, you realize you are still shrinking and worried that you might just disappear and go out like a candle. That's from the book. And, again, I'm still waiting for the other shrink. So this thread is happening at the same time as my input. That's why I can still type things in if I wanted to and find out, like, look, maybe you should stop fanning yourself. That's indicating, hey, maybe type something in. But if I look, so if I can still type things, look, and I still will get the answers, or I could type something like score and get my score. So far, I have a score of 25 because I've answered a couple of riddles and I grabbed the fan, different things. So now my height's 25. I'm going to stop. I don't want to shrink out of existence. So if I click stop, now I've stopped. And again, it gave me a warning. You need to stop shrinking before you disappear. Stop fanning yourself. Seriously, you need to stop. I think my next warnings are like, really, I break the fourth wall. I think I even say that. I kind of like have a Deadpool moment. I'm breaking the fourth wall and say, type in stop or drop. Drop would have also worked. Oh, I'm supposed to stop here. Oh, I'm a little worried. This was working earlier and I fiddled with it and maybe it's no longer working. So I should stop. Drop fan. Okay, so I might just die here. So drop fan. I'm telling myself to drop fan. And my height is 10. I think I'm about to go like a light. And I'm thinking I know the change that I made that's causing this issue. So once I die and go out, we'll take a look. I think I basically changed that code a bunch. Breaking the fourth wall. So this is what I'm doing. Breaking the fourth wall. Type, drop, or stop. I'm literally telling me to type, drop, or stop. Drop. Drop. So it's still not working. And I'm just breaking the fourth wall. So I'm about to go game over. And I think I made this code change right before I started. So we're going to wait till this makes me go game over. I'm about to die at this point. So this is what would have happened if you don't break the fourth wall. I think I give a few chances at one. Just because, ultimately, I don't want to kill myself. I don't want to let Alice go down like that. Going out like a candle. Okay, in the meantime, well, that's still giving me a chance. And maybe I actually stopped it from going out because for debugging purposes. Let's just look at the code for fan. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Oh, I'm in the wrong file here. I was in alice.cpp. I need to be in Alice in Wonderland, text-based adventure game. Control F, fan. So here's the fan method. As you can see, I've got a static bool, first attempt, second attempt, blah, blah, blah. That's something else. I've got an atomic bool, and I've included that library. That's so I can have safe multi-threading. Stop thread, I start stop thread at false. This is gaining points if I do certain things. I do stop thread.store false. It's just a better way instead of just going equals false. I'm just setting it to false. And you can see that I've made it so that I actually don't die. So that's good. So in that case, we'll just shut that down. And we'll come back to that in a second. But basically, I start a thread, player shrinking. And it's... I have a delay while not stop thread.load, so I load but it's not stop, which because right now it's false, so this will be true because not false is true. I'm going to basically get the player's height. I'm going to decrement it by 1, and then I'm going to assign to this local variable the height. So I'm going to set the height to whatever the player's height is minus 1, and then I'm going to get their height and assign it here. Again, I could put this in here, but that'd be a call over and over, so I might as well just assign this local variable. And then I really needed, I think originally I had this starting up at like 200 and making messages the whole way, and I really should, because you could see how long it took for the first one to happen. Because she starts off at like 250, 221 centimeters. So at 150 is when I say something. I put, yeah, you notice you're wearing a white kid glove, and I put the height. And then we do it for 125 all the way down. If height is less than or equal to 0, we call game over. So it equals 1. So here, when we get the height, when we set the height, we go player. Oh, you know what it is? I think I make it so that you can never set the height below 0. So theoretically, I could have probably just done this. Like, let's just actually go when it's 1, because I don't think I can set her height below 1, 0. Oh, now, mind you, I could obviously just change that in the set method, but I think that's what's stopping me. I think I had some validation code in the set height that you couldn't set her height to 0. So we'll change that to 1, and then she'll die next time if I leave her. Although I'd have to change the delay, and I don't think I'm going to let that happen, because that's... we can see that her height got to 1, so clearly the game over would get called. And it used to. I think I just changed that. This is just changing the delay based on what her height is. Obviously, I make it a long delay if she's almost dead to give her a chance. I have this in a try-catch clause because I'm trying to put the computer to sleep. And I've included all the appropriate libraries, chrono library, thread library, all up in my code here. But here's the still shrink. Okay, so still shrinking, player shrinking, shrinking, detach. I detached the code. I've commented things out, which is probably why I feel like, see, I've got things going on and off and on and off. So I'm going to handle regular input now. I have a string variable. While it's stop thread load, I'm reading in the input using getLine. I'm reading the input into the string. If stop, I think I can see my error already. I already see the error. If I change the game, weirdly, and now I have if stop, then we do this, and we go shrinking stopped, and then we call the stop method. But that's only if the input was that from the start. Because I typed something else first, I typed look, I got in this while loop and in this else statement, and then I got stuck in this do while loop where I continually read. This is the same do while loop that exists in the main method, and because of that, I guess I get stuck here and I never get back to this. And my stop method normally doesn't work. It doesn't do the stop thread, so that's what it is. So theoretically, if I type stop right away, it would have stopped. That's what I'll do for now, just to get this video going, because it's already pretty late. But obviously what I would do is I would just take this if else away, and I would just run this, and if stop is typed, I could either go change the stop menu, stop method, but that just does something else, I think, tidying up or saying something, or I could just have this code in this main method. So if the input is this, I never run the command, I just do this. But let's just save this like this for now. Well, I guess we haven't done anything. Let's just rerun the code, I guess is what I mean. Hopefully this doesn't screw up the video. Sometimes the video shuts down if there's a lot of stuff. So we're going to just rerun quickly. I'm just going to go east, no riddle, south, no riddle, west, no riddle, eat cake. I don't even need to pick up the cake. I can just eat the cake. Take fan. I don't need to look. I know there's a fan there. I've taken the fan, and I'm going to fan myself. So obviously I just cheated through that, but I didn't need to look. I knew that stuff was there. So I gained points. You can see the gain points method happened because of the fact that I picked up a fan. We'll just wait until we see the first indication of us shrinking, and then I will type in a command, and we'll see that I no longer shrink, like we stop shrinking. In fact, if we type in the command, we should see shrinking stopped, which we did last time. So there you go. So now if I type in stop, we can see game is resumed, shrinking stopped, game is resumed, so shrinking stopped, and then I ended this method. Obviously, this is for debugging purposes. Typically, that wouldn't be. And you'll see that I won't shrink anymore. So that's that. But again, that's not the best way, because if I type anything else first, then obviously I end up this loop. But that would be easily fixed by just removing this if-else statement and just having this do-while loop in here. Or you don't even need do-while loop, because this is already taking care of it. But I guess if you want to quit, but I think my run command, if you type quit in anyway, Q or quit, I have a separate function that closes, so I don't really need this do-while loop. And so I could update this. I just don't want to do it because it's late in the video. But you can see clearly the shrinking has stopped. I'm no longer shrinking. And then so I think if I try to take the key, open the door again, take key. Actually, I'm not sure if how much I got past this. To doors open, but you're too tall to fit through. Okay, drink bottle. After drinking the contents of the bottle, you shrink down to 10 inches. Can I open door? Because this is supposed to be, I think, irritating that I can never get through the door. Door is locked and you don't have the key. Until I eventually take gloves. I can't remember. Take gloves. I'm trying to look. I think I have to look behind the curtain or something, maybe. Let's see. I'm just going to take curtain. It's not proper English, but I don't have my verbs here. Curtain is not a known noun. Okay, so I need to move curtain, maybe. I honestly, at this point, can't remember because it's not a known verb. So move is not a known verb. Curtain wasn't a known noun. I think it was just there. I don't think it was meant to do anything. I honestly can't remember at this point. I think I started to cry and then I end up in a different location automatically, the Pool of Tears. But because my code is not quite there yet. But that's supposed to be what happened. I just kind of get frustrated. I can never go through the door. So I just get frustrated. Like, what's in my inventory right now? A large fan. I could fan myself again, I guess, and just let it all end. I can't remember. Maybe I have to get to a certain point and start crying. I don't know. I'll honestly have to look at the code after. But this is already an incredibly long video, half an hour, that probably shouldn't have been. But I just wanted to show kind of the workings of it so far. I might not let this delay is a long time. You're going to need to stop. So you can see that I kind of kept going. You're really going to need to stop before you're gone, or if so, just drop the fan and get rid of the temptation. So basically, again, give me hints. So drop. So game is resumed. So again, I dropped the fan. I was at height 10 this time. And so the game is resumed. And the reason that I was at such a low height already is because they're two the two separate threads, and if that kept going, right? And I also think I have it if I come back in, I just lower. Like if I press fan again, I might go out like a candle. Who knows? But yeah, that's that. If I look around, I'm here. Let's just go west. Let's see if we can get somewhere. I can't remember now at this point. Where am I? If I go west, I'm still in the Great Hall. Let's go east. No, don't want to hear a riddle. Look around. Where am I? I'm in Twig Landing. Okay, so I want to go west again. No, I want to go north. Nah. Look. No. Okay, south. No. And look. Okay, so I can't get out here. There's a way to get out here. I can't think of it right now. I know when I made the thing, she never gets out through the door. She has to cry. So I can't really think of how I can get out of there now. You're too short to grab the key. Okay, of course. I've shrunk so much. After eating the cake, I'm 9 feet tall. Open door. You know. Door is locked and you don't have the key. Oh my gosh, take key. Key taken. Open door. Door is open, but you're too tall to fit through. Okay, so this is going to be a cycle. I honestly don't remember how to fix this. Drink bottle. After drinking the contents, you shrink to 10 inches. Can I open the door? I honestly think I put myself in this sort of endless loop. Take key. And if I look, yeah, I'm still in the Great Hall. You know what? I am just going to end it. This is where I'm at. So, just so you know, that's kind of the project so far. Again, with a couple days, this would have been good. I really think, but alas, that's not the case. But yeah, ultimately, just the idea was she can never go through the door. She cries, and I think I open up, automatically go to a new stage, um, where I cry Pool of Tears. So then I end up in the caucus race where you're kind of I'm in the Pool of Tears as a stage, and then there's excerpts associated with that and all that, and then I go to some caucus race. In fact, if I type that up here, if I type Pool of Tears, so Pool of Tears, Alice is in a Pool of Tears, blah blah blah. Pool of Tears is equal to true. Okay, return cries plus rabbit. Auto add items to location. So I cry the Pool of Tears, but then how do I get out? Caucus race. I'm going to type in caucus race. So when I'm at the caucus race, I'm actually just not sure. I can't really remember. So let me just take a look for a second. Oh, and I wasn't looking. And yeah, my head got to 1, so this time I went game over. Okay, so I'm just going to look up something really quick, keep you guys on the line, although you're free to leave whenever, because I'm just a disembodied voice at this moment in time. So I was just going to look up and see if I could figure out why Wonderland. Where's my map? I'm just gonna open up the map here. So show descriptions, default, you're at the whatever, highlighted, you're in the whatever. So I start off at the riverbank. There's no exit. There's no exit west, south. I could get north. I could get to the river, and the only exit from the river was to go back to the riverbank. I could get to the rabbit hole. I don't know if you can read that. I can get to the rabbit hole this way. And then when I'm at the rabbit hole, no exit. I can go in the river. I didn't do that, but I could. I could go back to the riverbank. I got to Twig Landing, and then there's no exit except for the Great Hall West, is what I did. And the only way to get I can just go back between Twig Landing and Great Hall. So I have to transport out of here. So you can see 3. I start off 0, 1, 2, 3, and then I get to 4, but there's no exit. There's no way to get there. It's through coding that I go through the Pool of Tears. And then I can go to shore, the caucus race, or go back to the Pool of Tears. I can go to the woods. So there's a couple things like that. I do have some weird ones where somehow you get in the courthouse and you can't escape because the way the story ends at the end, you're in the courthouse and there's just something you have to do. Again, when I'm in the Great Hall, I can somehow get back to the Great Hall. That's going through a woods in the tree here. You can see woods / tree door, Great Hall. So you either can go into the woods if you just go in these directions, or if you notice there's a tree, you can open the door in the tree and it'll take you here. But this is why I'm currently stuck in Great Hall. And I just don't think I have the coding, or I have the code. It's not set up right now. It's in there, but it's not working where it's automatically transferring my location, which is really all it does. It simply updates my set location. So I could kind of do that probably fairly quickly, but at this point, it's really late. Again, I have an exam now in 12 hours, and I need to sleep. So... but it's really just I'm resetting the location. I automatically go here based off of I'm crying or something, right? And some narrative. And then the rest of the game, for the most part, you just navigate the way you normally would. Got lots of info. You know what? Just while we're all here, let's just type some Alice in Wonderland info. So I basically go through a lot of the websites and stuff and highlight stuff, and this is where I just got a lot of the stuff for my riddles, little jokes. I think I have a lot of puns too. Some of my jokes are puns, like I can't remember where it is, but the Cheshire Cat. I'm like, what's the Cheshire Cat's favorite milk? And it's like evaporated milk, because he evaporates. So this is where I got a lot of my info. That's some info. Then I think I've got this one is called more info, which is just this is kind of how I base my game character list. Alice, White Rabbit, King of Hearts, Queen of Hearts. These are the characters which are no longer going to be in here because I've ran out of time and spent too much time on this coding. This was kind of my breakdown too. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland books. Each chapter, the narrative text. So like this is the text that I have in a text file that reads in. The rooms, this sort of thing. Objects, these are ideas for objects. Again, some of them based on the story and the time. These are the hints that I would have read. Follow rabbit, enter hole, pool of tears. When's Alice's birthday? So these are kind of the jokes. Like if I would have did the when is Alice's birthday, this is her answer, May the 4th. So some of my hints are like every year it's celebrated by a lot of people across the world, from London to places far, far away. That's my Star Wars hint. And then I'm like, look, if you don't know the answer, I'm not going to force you to get it. Again, Star Wars. Nothing to do with Alice in Wonderland. I just, the only thing I can think of for May 4th. And then it's the same day celebrated by Star Wars fans. May the 4th be with you. So that one's less of a Alice in Wonderland sort of hint, but occasionally that's it. These are kind of like the gameplay of what I expected. Let's see. Caucus race, a long tail. So how did I get the Alice shrinks as she fans herself? She cries a massive pool of tears. Anyway, I just transport to that location. This is kind of the setup I had for the game, which again now is not going to get implemented fully. But there you go. What else did I have? I had lots of stuff, different. I don't know what this one is. This was just me reading, grabbing the notes. Lots of other things. I think I had broken down this one. This is the excerpts that won't make it into the game now, but I had broken down the excerpts based on color. Like this is the riverbank. These are the excerpts, and this is how they're read from the file. This is just kind of like the way I did that. A rabbit hole, twig landing, great hall, pool of tears. So I do get in the pool of tears. Just these are all the excerpts. Wood forest. There's different stuff. But anyway, that's pretty much it. So the game is not going to be what it was or what it could be, but that's that's where it is right now. That was a long description, but I figure it's better than having nothing, because obviously I'm not going to get the game done fully. So that's that. Thanks for watching.